Hi crochet friends, welcome back to my channel. I'm Stefania, and today I thought we would take another break from crochet to make some paper snowflakes. This is going to be another cozy crafting video, so grab something for yourself to craft, whether that's paper snowflakes or something else, a nice beverage, and let's get going. To make paper snowflakes, you just need some sort of paper and a pair of scissors. I've got a selection of different papers here, including some blank paper, an old magazine, and even some paper with patterns on it. I've got a large and a small pair of scissors, depending on what kind of cuts I want to make, and a cutting board, but that's mostly just so I can crease my paper while being comfy on the couch here. I wanted to give you a closer look at my snowflake process here. I start by making a square by folding one corner of the paper diagonally and lining up the edges on two sides. Then I cut the rectangle of paper that is left over. I then fold the triangle corner to corner, making sure to keep the center point. I fold it one more time in the same manner, and the triangle is ready to start cutting into a snowflake. The first cut I tend to do is shaping the arms of the snowflake. This cut should be made into the open edge of the triangle, opposite of the point where all the folds meet. You can either make a shallow cut, which will result in a more squared snowflake, or if you cut deeper into the triangle, like I'm doing here, you will get a snowflake with more distinct arms. As you're cutting, make sure not to cut all the way through the folded edges unless you want a significantly smaller snowflake. Once you've created the outline of your snowflake, it's time to add some details. Working along the two folded edges, cut into the arms of your snowflake, making sure not to cut all the way through. You can cut half hearts, triangles, semicircles, spirals, or any other shape you want. I like to keep my scissors pretty steady and slowly cut as I twist the paper into the shape I'm going for. I try to leave the remaining paper wide enough so that it'll hold its structure once the snowflake is unfolded. If the connections are too thin, this creates the risk that the snowflake will rip or just flop over. If you're using thicker paper, this may be less of an issue, but if you're using regular printer paper like me, try to aim to leave a thickness of about 1 centimeter or roughly 1/4 of an inch. It doesn't have to be too precise. Test out what works best for you. Once the sides are decorated to your liking, you can choose whether or not to cut the center of the snowflake. If you don't, the center of your snowflake will be solid. I personally prefer to cut the center, whether that's with a diagonal, a point, a curve, or other shape. This adds an interesting detail at the center of your snowflake from which the arms come out of. Once you've made all your cuts, it's time to unfold your snowflake and see the final result. As you open it up, smooth out the folds to help the snowflake open up and stay flat. And there you have it, your snowflake is complete. You can either use tape to hang it up on your walls or windows, or tie yarn or ribbon to the tip and hang them from your ceiling. I was going to try to talk as I made these snowflakes, but I found this a lot more difficult than I had anticipated. I found myself repeating the same sentences, trying to find the right words to tell my story. I was getting more and more frustrated, which caused me to reevaluate. This was supposed to be a cozy crafting session, time for me to slow down and enjoy crafting. Getting frustrated over words directly went against this, so I decided to redirect and create this voiceover. I'm glad to have made this choice because I ended up really enjoying my time crafting. And that's really what crafting is all about, taking the time to relax and have fun being creative. Let me know what you're working on as we continue crafting together. Growing up, my family celebrated both the solstice and Christmas. The solstice is a celebration of the shortest day of the year, marking the official start of winter. We would have a nice candlelit dinner together as a family, sometimes ending with a Yule log cake. Once in a while, my parents would also throw a solstice party where we invited all of our friends and family to come over and share food, drinks, and laughter. I remember that one of these parties even had an origami artist show us how to make all sorts of origami sculptures. As a nature-loving family, it felt special to me to celebrate the natural changing of the seasons and take a moment to give thanks that the days would start to get longer again from this point. Christmas for us was celebrated more as a social holiday rather than a religious one. We would set up a fake tree in our living room and decorate it with a nature theme. We had birds, squirrels, and other woodland critters perching on the branches, and a garland of pine cones and small birds' nests. Instead of a star or angel at the top of the tree, we had a white peacock. I always loved our nature-themed tree and our tradition of decorating it while watching Christmas movies. One of our favorite movies was Elf. I especially loved the scene where Buddy decorates the house with paper snowflakes, paper chains, and even silverware hung from the ceiling. One year, when my parents were out at a holiday party, my siblings and I decided to surprise them with a decorated living room when they returned. We drew lots of inspiration from Buddy's efforts and got to work transforming the space. Ever since then, I was hooked on making paper snowflakes each year. Whether that was when I was in college, using assignments from past courses, or during lockdowns using old newspapers, I always made time to be creative and decorate my space with these unique snowflakes. As a native Californian, we had to drive into the mountains if we wanted to experience any snow. I think that's why snowflakes have always felt so special and magical to me. As each one is unique, there's no right or wrong pattern you can cut into a paper snowflake. I like to add hearts, diamonds, and spirals to mine. With some, I even try to add snowmen, candy canes, or other wintertime symbols. If my hands would let me, I could keep making snowflakes all winter long. I'm going to continue making a couple more snowflakes to round out my crafting session while I play some music. If you've made it this far, leave a comment letting me know what some of your favorite winter traditions are. From turning the papers into pieces of squares for the snowflakes, I'm left with a bunch of these cut-offs. Luckily, I can turn this into an easy paper chain with just a bit of tape. These strips are a bit thick, so I'm actually just going to cut them all in half. Then, just using a piece of tape and one of the strips, we're going to tape it into a loop. Using the next piece of paper, you just have to feed it through that loop before taping it as well. Continue until you've got the paper chain. So in about 45 minutes, I've made 9 different snowflakes and turned my scraps into a paper chain. I think I have to call it here because my hand is starting to get sore from all the cutting. Let me know in the comments down below if you enjoyed this cozy crafting session and share what you were working on. I really love how these decorations turned out, so let's check out how they look hung up. And here we are, our lovely winter wonderland. Here's a close-up of my completed snowflakes. I like how the mix of papers turned out. I think if I had just made white snowflakes, they would have blended in too much with the white wall. While I love all the snowflakes I made, I think my favorite one has to be this light blue one with lots of curves and heart details. Let me know which one your favorite is. Thanks for watching till the end of the video. If you liked this video, make sure you let me know by leaving a thumbs up and subscribing to my channel. It really helps me out a lot. I make new videos every week, including check-in videos, crochet tutorials, and other craft content. As a thank you to my first 100 subscribers, in the month of December, I'll be releasing 2 new videos every week. So make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss out. Let me know in the comments down below if you have any suggestions for other crafts I should try out in a future cozy crafting. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye!